yells at me when I forget to record. And will everybody in? We're glad to have you though, Leka. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, thank you, Kikoa. It's so good to be here.
Yeah. Woo! Welcome everybody. Oh, Alex. Good to see you again. And Troy, Dennis. Hey, Troy. Welcome.
Oh, Hamilton finally came on. He had a hard time getting on. What's up, Hamilton?
What's up?
It's awesome. Welcome. Hey, Vlad, where are you from? Vlad
Richie.
Timoshik. Richie's in his car.
What's up, everybody?
He's on the move.
He's on the move. John Kim. John, are you in the East Coast?
Oh man, I'm in Redmond, Washington.
Oh, you're in Redmond. Nice.
Yeah.
You're right in our neck of the woods up here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Close, yeah.
Welcome. What do you do in Redmond? Are you a investor, flipper?
I'm a wholesaler.
Wholesaler. Right on.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How's wholesaling going right now?
A lot of leads, so I have a lot of following up to do. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of opportunities that are coming in the next few months, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Are you noticing that you're holding on to some stuff a little bit longer than usual?
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you do for wholesaling? What's your sources?
Sources like what lists?
Yeah, are you doing lead lists? Are you doing direct calling, mailing?
Oh yeah. Cold calls and texting.
And texting, the SMS.
Yeah.
Which one are you finding is most effective right now?
Definitely text on the response rates, but there's been a lot of positive stuff going on with the calls. People are willing to talk. Yeah.
Right, isn't that funny? Yeah, people are, when you call their houses now, they pick up.
Yeah, most people are happy to talk to someone, I think.
I know.
So long, you know?
Yeah, and then they talk for too long because they're not talking to anybody, and all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, and you're like, dude, I gotta get off the phone.
Yeah. Totally.
That's awesome. Well, right on, man. Well, welcome. Glad that you're on. Glad you're a part of it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
It's awesome. Welcome everybody. Cassie Chun, Justin Acuna, Hamilton Ho. Welcome, Hamilton. It's awesome.
Ante, the unicorn hunter.
Unicorn hunter.
That's me.
How are you doing, Dante?
Good. Playing around with the names.
Trying to be anonymous so nobody can see you. That's awesome. How come you look so casual? What are you doing? Just cruising on the couch today?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through some classes after this. So
nice.
yeah, throughout the whole day today.
Nice. Online classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continuing education?
No, actually, doing some video courses with fortune builders.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which one? Which class?
Right now, doing the fix and flip wholesaling, and then after this one would be the passive income courses.
Nice. Yeah, those are good ones. Fortune Builders has some really good courses.
Yeah, that's why I took it.
Yeah, a lot of the good connections too. I wonder if they're going to do the conference in Vegas this year.
That's going to be a good question.
They do.
Yeah, they are. They're going to do it.
This year too.
They're going to do it? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The ticket's already on sale.
Nice. With social distancing. So you got 5,000 people sitting 6 feet apart.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
We've gone every year for the last few years, and it's always been amazing. Always good information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good. Well, maybe we'll catch you all there. That would be fun. Have some good times, some good food. Should be cool. How's Vegas today? I think isn't it Chris that's from Vegas?
Yeah.
I saw his face earlier, but he must be at the gym again.
Hey, Javon, how you doing?
Staying focused, busy as always.
Thanks for sharing the call, man.
Oh, always.
Is awesome. Sweet. Cool. John Rankin's in the house. He's great. Well, cool.
John's about to close out a deal.
Oh yeah, which deal?
Yep.
Which deal? What location's at?
Hawaii Kai.
Nice.
61 Ipo Street. So yeah, it's supposed to close in the next week or week and a half.
Nice. And you got a big reno plan?
No, so that's reno's just finished. It got listed a couple months ago, fell out of escrow once. But this one seems pretty solid. So yeah, looking forward to ending this project, getting my money back and putting it into the next one.
Nice. Did you find another one yet?
No, not yet. Still looking.
Not yet. Nice. Always looking in the Hawaii Kai area?
No, I mean, pretty much anywhere on Oahu. And then also been checking out Indianapolis for more buy and hold properties.
Nice. Midwest is always nice. You get some decent cash flow there.
Yep.
You might want to check out Florida too. Today's guest, Leka, has a really nice cash cow that's down in Tampa. So that's a area I hadn't considered, but gives you a good reason to go to the other end of the world from Hawaii all the way to Florida. But yeah, congratulations on closing. Sweet. Well, maybe we should just we'll get rolling since a little bit after 1 o'clock. Glad everybody's with us. Everybody had a good week this week. How about just for fun for everybody who's on, if you can throw in the chat, what movie have you watched lately, either on Netflix or Amazon Prime, that you're just like, hey, this was actually a decent movie? Everybody's still kind of in phase 1 or 2, or still got time at home. But what movies have you watched lately? My wife and I are stuck on Designated Survivor for some reason. We don't know why, but we're still watching that show. Corey, what you been watching lately?
What have I been watching? I've been watching reruns of Silicon Valley on HBO.
Oh,
it's like a comedy, like, but it has a lot about business too. Piques my interest.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's cool. Yeah, if anybody's got any cool movie recommendations, throw it in the chat just for fun. It'd be cool. Alex says Chasing Train. Oh, interesting. That's cool. Ozark. A lot of people have said Ozark is really good.
I couldn't get into Ozark.
Yeah? Javon says Ozark is really good. Money Heist. That'd be fun.
Blinders. Oh, okay.
I've heard so much about Money Heist.
Huh. We should
My
watch
girl,
it.
my girl liked it a lot, but I couldn't get into it. It just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Huh. One of those things. Well, Alex, you look like you're out there hustling in the nice warm weather outside.
I'm on a little adventure right now, so I just stopped, to catch in and tune in. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
So
man.
Alex and I were in the Maui Mastermind with Brandon Turner last year.
Yeah. Alex is a good guy. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch you guys all doing all your cool stuff.
Likewise. Yeah, that trip was game changer. It was definitely epic.
No, all our friends are there, and Kiko and I couldn't go for some. I think we're on a different trip.
We were stuck in Vegas somewhere or something. We were stuck somewhere else. We should have gone, but it's all good. Well, hey, Corey, go ahead and open us up. Got any opening remarks?
No, we can get going. I want to give Leka some time to speak, and I think we'll go over. Are we gonna go over the leads and needs first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me lead into that first. I guess a need for us, all of us, I think, is if you guys can all spread the word about the group, because honestly, this is all of our group. Like, even though like Kiko and I and our team, Alex, Justin, Tyler, Scott, and Layla, we kind of manage everything, but at the end of the day, it's all of our group, and the more people that we have that give value, I think is you know, it's going to raise all of us, and it'll be our job, because as the bigger we grow, right, sometimes we can lose the sense of value. So we don't want that. But I think we can, amongst all of us, we can kind of make sure that we keep the culture that and the mission behind these calls and the Facebook group, you know, still strong in the sense of abundance, helping each other, sharing, transparency, all of that, right? So there's enough to go around for everybody. And, you know, my dream is that all of us help each other and we close deals together. You know, we make money together, we build wealth together, generational wealth, you know, that we can pass down and be proud of. So that's just something I'd like to throw out there to the group. It's like, let's own this group as our own. And if you can help spread the word and share, the more people we bring in, you know, we'll make sure that we keep the culture strong.
Awesome. Well, we always start off with leads and needs. So this section real quick is just kind of sharing some more about anything that you need. So if you need a partner, you need a joint venture, you need money, or if you've got a lead of some sort that you want to place. I know Christopher was on last week and he had some properties that he wanted to unload in the Midwest. And thanks to this group, it looks like all 3 of them got sold. So you guys are amazing. He's on the road today, but anybody else got anything that is a lead or a need that you want to share? Just jump on in now and share what you got or what you need.
I got a lead. I officially started at Hawaii Mortgage Experts as a loan officer. Thank you. So we do loans at wholesale prices. So if you guys need refinances, purchases, or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out with that.
Sweet. So residential refinances, that type of product?
Yes. Yeah, all residential, anything 4 units and under.
Conventional loans?
Yes. Conventional VAs, FHAs, I do all those.
What market? Hawaii?
Yeah, all the islands of Hawaii.
Perfect.
Nice. Can you throw in your email address in the chat, Javon, and that way we can all get in touch with you and
sure.
Check it out. That's awesome. Congratulations on the new job. It's a blessing to have a job right now. So congratulations.
Amen. Yes, it is.
Anybody else got a lead or a need?
I got one. It's both a lead and a need. Our development project is going to be moving along fairly soon. So it is a lending opportunity, a little bit on the longer side. And it's a need because we need funds. So if anybody's interested, I can give you more information.
How much you need, bro?
I think we're looking for 250 to 300,000.
Tell us a little bit more about the project.
It's a 5-house development, ground up. It's in the west side.
West side?
Makaha. Yeah.
Makaha. Cool.
They're building right down the road from ours, so the lots are already subdivided too, right, Richie?
Yeah, we got the subdivision. It's done already, subdivided into 3 lots and building 5 units.
Oh, when are you guys gonna be shovel ready? Do you have that yet?
We just met yesterday with what our plan of attack is for the site work and all of that. So not an exact date yet, but it's coming.
That's awesome. Nice.
And let everyone know we're in first position on that one alongside Richie. So we'll be teaming up together.
So what Richie's looking for is about $250,000 of a private money lender.
Yeah.
Sound right, Richie? Sweet.
Yes.
And are you offering 25% and 50% profit share?
No, it's 30% and 59 points.
Solid, bro. Sign me up. We're in. Even give you $1, I'll be rich. That's awesome. Right on. So you're going to do a ROI return and then just kind of a mortgage and a deed?
Yes.
And a promissory note kind of a thing? Perfect.
Yeah.
Sweet. Hey, Richie, what's your email address?
Richie at, well, I'm driving, so if somebody can write it down, but I can put it into. I'll put it in the chat. I'm almost at my destination.
Okay. Sure. I was gonna try to see if you were gonna start texting while you're driving. I was testing you.
I can't do it with this many people watching.
I know, right?
I'll put it in the chat.
We got at least one
Okay.
police officer watching, so you know we testing you, Ra. It's good. Right on. Okay. Anybody else got a lead or a need? That's a good one.
I got some deals, of course, need funding on.
Nice.
Couple, I don't know, 3 coming up. So anybody who wants to invest and be a part of what we do, yeah, need some more investors, of course.
What's the range of private money?
Anywhere from 30,000 to 150,000. We have one right now. We need 160 on. Another one I need 35 on, and 2 more coming up.
Oh, okay. And they're all single family rehabs, island of Oahu?
This island, and actually we have a few in Ohio too. We're doing burrs up there.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome. Okay. Throw your information there in the chat, just so that way, in case anybody is interested in those markets, that would be cool. So Ohio or Oahu, especially if you're a brand new investor, these are great opportunities to kind of partner with somebody. Of course, always do your due diligence, when you're ever partnering with anybody. But it's also a great way to get started if you're trying to get started with hard money lending and such, just to be a part of a deal. So
Indar, do you guys have anyone for the takeout yet when you're done for the birds in Ohio?
Shoot, we were just I was trying to do my 10. You're allowed 10 with your own self. So we're just doing with Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo just shut me down. I have great credit. I cover for everything, but we have private money lenders on the deal, and Wells Fargo just told me they wouldn't lend unless it was a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan that they were taking out. And it's kind of weird to hear that from Wells Fargo.
What is the total loan amount on that?
Well, I don't know if you package all. We have 12 homes up there. We're refining, kind of doing one at a time. Just trying to get 75%. That's our main goal. I mean, okay. Values. We can either do one at a time or package deal.
You might have to go to with soft money. So we have guys that can do that. It's like an intermediate, like a in between. It's kind of like a bridge for before you go to Fannie Mae. Because sometimes it has to be seasoned. The property. So let me know if you guys get closer. We can help you out. And if there's any brokers that are doing conventional financing that can help with our, please reach out to them.
Yeah. And then I have 2 more in here in Hawaii that we got to refinance as well. And just main thing, a couple of the banks over here are just doing conventional. They would only give me 65%. And huge part of the goal is to get 75% to get all our private money as well as our rehab cost out,
Well, there you go, Javon. Go find Indar some 75% on the conventional.
Yeah, for sure, man. Give me your email address and we'll connect.
Yep. I'll email you.
Yeah, Javon, his Indar's email is in the chat, so grab that and kind of roll from there.
Let's do some deals.
Awesome. Is there anybody else who's got anything on a lead or need? And then we're going to kind of roll into kind of another little segment that we'll add on, just kind of called Unstuck. So if you've got some situation or some deal you're evaluating or something that you're a little bit perplexed by or feeling a little stuck on, we'd love to, just as a collaborative group, just kind of talk through that with you. I got a message from a gentleman out of Kansas City, Chris Delaney. Are you on the line somewhere? You'll have to unmute yourself if you are. Is there a Chris Delaney? Oh, Chris, I see you, but I can't hear you. How's you?
I'm gonna
get it?
Figured it out.
Yeah. All right, right on. Well, right on. So you're from Kansas City.
Well, that's where I'm at now. Yeah, that's where I'm living now. Yeah.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about the situation in terms of what you're looking at, and then we can see if there's some collective thinking that can help to kind of get you unstuck from that. So maybe just like in 60 seconds or left, just give us a high level of what your situation is.
Purchased a property in Kansas City about 3 years ago. I like the area because the property is in a development that was 3 years ago was kind of stuck. There was no money and there wasn't anywhere for it to go. But the city had already developed, had already laid out all the streets, and had already made room for everything. So I saw it as an opportunity to get in early before the development actually happened. Next door, I bought a house that was already built in the end of a cul-de-sac, and next door to me is a vacant lot. I saw that. I was like, well, that could be interesting. What does that cost? How much could I get that lot for, and then combine it with the lot that I'm buying right now? Is that an opportunity? And for the last 3 years, I've been trying to figure it out. And, finding the people who know how to value land doesn't seem like there's any way to do it. And anybody you talk to, they don't really give you any advice or tell you how to figure it out, what to do. And then the next step would be, actually purchasing the land from somebody and, making that connection about, how much you think the land's worth, and then how much, having that agreement between the two people, and then, coming to an agreement of what the land is actually worth. So, there's an empty lot next to my house that was a part of a subdivision, but it was never built on. Why wasn't it built on? Nobody wants to tell me that either. So, but from my perspective, the lot doesn't really have it's not big enough to put a house on. So I'm thinking that there's some HOA restrictions that are keeping the builder from actually building on it. They've moved on. This is a plat, a plat that was it was like the 5th plat. They're on like plat 15 now. So, this is a advancing development in the area, and they've long since abandoned this, this lot to build on. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I don't really know who to talk to, what's the right person to reach out to help, get the right, where to go from here. Who do I talk to that, gets me the right information, and then, what's the bridge between me and the HOA to, get the land combined into a single lot. So there's a lot of moving parts, and I don't know what to do. So
awesome. Well, that's why you're here, man. This is what it's all about, is for us to help each other out. So let me just summarize it, and then we'll open it up to everybody. And whoever's got any experience having done anything like this in any market, it would be great to just kind of hear some perspective. I think he's looking for just some guidance. So you've got a piece of property right next to yours. You'd like to buy it, combine the properties, challenges. You don't know exactly how to value it. You don't know who to contact to try to put that deal together. Is that kind of the bottom line?
That's the simple point.
Perfect.
Of it. Yep.
Anybody been through something like that? Corey, you want to hit that at all? Anybody else got some added guidance that you would give them as just suggestions? Obviously, not everybody here knows Kansas City, but just in general, maybe we can give you some thoughts. So anybody want to chime in?
Because it's in a different market, Kansas City, but I'm guessing you have to work with the city, go down to the Department of Planning and Permitting. But I know that there are people in our group, I don't see them on the call today, but that are from Kansas City, or not from Kansas City, but they're doing business in Kansas City. They're investing out there. So perhaps I'll reach out to them to have them contact you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else? Thoughts?
So you don't have, you're not able to get in touch with the property owner. Can you recap that part for me?
So the builder still is a majority owner of all the lots, and they haven't released the president is actually still associated with the builder. So yeah, I can get a hold of him, but they seem to kind of be at the point where, I'm asking questions, and then they just they pick the questions they want to answer. You know what I mean? And they don't seem to be like they don't want to engage in a full conversation about it. And I'm not sure they basically ended the conversation in the email chain. Hey, put a bid in for it, tell us what you think it's worth, kind of deal. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's worth $1 to me, I don't know, but that's not reasonable, right? I don't want to underbid it or, provide a too low of a number. And then obviously if I don't want to provide a number that's too high. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you know that number? I mean, do you have a number? I mean, if you just stalled out, don't you want to give them a number that would work at least to re-engage the conversation? That's just my initial,
Right. And I think the difficult thing is, if you go back and you go way, way back to where, the land was purchased as like farmland, was completely vacant before any development happens, you're buying land for, I don't know, somewhere, a few $100s an acre maybe, or, it's like, but now once you develop it, the prices go up. So they mentioned something that they had listed the lot at $30,000 for a half an acre. And that doesn't, for an undeveloped, manicured lot, that seems a bit high to me. So.
Well, what would 15,000 work? What number would work? I guess I'm saying it's like, who cares what they bought it for back then? Because prices have changed now, but there is a number that will work for you. Why are you not actively trying to get that number to see, 30,000 doesn't work. 1,000 is probably not going to work for them. What number would work? So, I guess I'm trying to figure out if you've done that real hard analysis of whether or not you do have a number that would work.
This is my suggestion. This is what I suggest. I suggest, like Alex is saying, for your best case scenario of what you want to do on the land, Chris, find out what your number is, send them an LOI, a letter of intent. It's non-binding. If he's interested, he will respond to you. And if he is interested, it opens up the conversation to go possibly into contract. Make sure you have due diligence period so you can bail out if you can't work out the issues about or can't get clarity on whether you can do what you want to do on the property, and do your due diligence. I would go down to the city and talk to whoever you got to talk to. I don't know if you're in that market, but if not, then are you in Kansas City?
I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, I'd add to that, Chris, just, every single parcel, it has a tax assessed value. That's probably a decent place to start. So go find out, it's public record, find out what the tax assessed value, and then in your letter of intent, just say, hey, I'm going to offer you tax assessed for your property. The step one is to always engage a conversation that is ongoing. So, sometimes you're going to offer initially a lot of money just to get them to sit down and start talking. And then once you get to know the situation, you get to know what challenges are on that lot, then you can start asking for credits to whatever you want. But if you start off at $1, they're going to basically tell you, just go take a hike. But if you start off at tax assessed, at least, you come up with a reasonable initial approach. If you come up a little bit above that, then obviously he might be like, hey, you know what, this guy's kind of serious. And then you just have a good conversation. If you can get in touch with the guy, like if he's still developing in that area, find him at one of the projects, drive up to the house, hand him the letter, have a conversation. So you go eyeball to eyeball. Sometimes that relationship goes a long way. Because he probably is getting approached by a lot of people for all kinds of things. And so that's where you can probably present something that he might at least give you a little bit of some feedback, And then, the worst that can happen is like, well, I'm not going to take tax assessed. I'm thinking it's worth twice as much. Then at least now you've got a context. And you're like, okay, twice as much. And you'll be like, hey, okay, let me go do some due diligence. I'll come back. And then you go sit on it for a week, do some due diligence, find a reason why twice as much is not worth that. Come back and say, hey, I heard your initial response. You wanted twice as much of tax assessed. I took a look around. Here's some comps. Here's the situation with your lot. It's not connected to utilities. Therefore, I got to deduct a little bit more. Feel like this number would be reasonable at about 25% greater. So something like that. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. And I was going to kind of bounce back to Alex real quick and kind of get an idea of what he meant by, a starting number, because I think you touched on it. It was, all these little things where, the value of, having utilities, what's the convenience of those things? If there's a giant hill in the middle of it or off to the side, that's, that it's going to cut back on the amount of usable space, right? You have a steep grade, that part of the land is almost unusable. So
yeah, you don't have to figure that out now though, Chris, for your offer. Just
Okay.
open the conversation. You can always renegotiate. You know what I mean? So just open the conversation with an LOI with what you want to do with the property. And obviously when you're doing your due diligence, things are going to change. That price is probably going to change depending on what feedback you get
Sure.
from the city. So I'd say just, run it like that, open the conversation, and then you just keep pushing forward. But before we move on, May Akamine in the chat said, check the chat, Chris. She said she has somebody that may be able to, you might want to contact, Aaron Adams.
And he's out of Missouri, so that's kind of cool. Sweet. And Chris, keep us in the loop on that. Take it a step at a time, keep us updated, and we'll walk you through that together, and we'll hopefully one day celebrate the fact that you closed on that piece of property next to yours. It'd be pretty sweet.
Will do.
Yeah, because one last thing, because essentially the ball's back in your court, so you just got to throw the ball back in their court, and that's what we're talking about, right? It's a back and forward. I mean, some negotiations take years, some negotiations take months, but now you got to put it back in their court, and that way you get back and back and forth. You might have to go back and forth like 5 times more. So just that's what we're talking about, I think.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
I'm rooting for you, bro. We got your back. Go get them.
We got
Thanks.
Cool.
Appreciate
Anybody else got something pretty quick? And then otherwise we're going to go over to our guest. But if anybody's got something that
Yeah, very quickly, if I may. We have rolling projects that's going to last probably about a year, 18 months, and we're looking for funding.
Okay.
We are looking we can take 50,000 tranches, and we're looking for basically between 250 and 300,000. We are we're bulldozing 2 lots of land, starting new construction next week. And we have permits approval on another 5, and another 3 are waiting. So if anyone's interested in funding a new build on the Big Island, it is affordable housing, that's our bag, but it's not a charity. So if anyone's looking for an ongoing rolling fund in Pune, then we're your guys, whether it be short-term or long-term. We plan to do this for at least a couple of years to come.
Awesome.
Are you partnering with Fuzzy?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
So I can Fuzzy, like that they're strong operators, so I can vouch for that project. I have faith in Fuzzy. They've been turning on, for
we done 4 together. There's another one on the market, just one on the market last week, and we're doing 2, and we plan to do this for at least another year, maybe 2.
The demand is high for the product that you guys are building out there, so.
It is. I mean, we're looking at it carefully now. Things are starting to level off as we expected. So we're looking to do these builds so it comes onto the market in Q4. So if anyone wants to jump in, love to hear from you.
Yeah. Everybody's looking for a reason to go to the Big Island, man, except for the quarantine. Still a nice place to go. All right, on. Well, cool. Let's move on. I'm just super excited. What we've been doing is just kind of bringing on a guest or a specialist to kind of pick their brain, hear their story, bring some gems off of them. And this week it's kind of cool because we're going to get a chance to listen to the story of Leka Devatha. She actually moved from India about 13 years ago. She came to the Seattle area. She worked for Nordstrom's, and she was in the corporate side of Nordstrom's, and then she left it after being there for a few years, and then she started up a real estate investment company called Rehab Homes. And she got into real estate. She did her first flip, took her a few months, lost money, made no money, but she just fell in love. And I'm not sure how her husband felt about that while she lost money and decided to leave her corporate job. But now she's flipped over 40 houses. She's in land development. She's doing long-term rentals. She's doing adult family homes. She's super, super motivational. She started a meetup here in Seattle, downtown Bellevue, and gathers just a lot of great real estate investors. What I love about her is that she is highly successful, but her heart of just sharing and humility is awesome. We consider her a really dear friend, and it's fun to just do stuff with them, her and her husband. I'm always jealous because they have the nicest Teslas in all of the Northwest. So every time we meet up, I always salivate a little bit. But Leka Devatha, welcome. I think you might need to unmute yourself there.
There we go.
Yeah. How did your, so just curious, when you came over from India,
Yes.
you told your husband that you wanted to leave Nordstrom's corporate, which was a nice cushy salary, to go do real estate investing. Like, what was his thoughts? Like, what did he say?
He said I probably lost my mind, but we did join the Fortune Builders program ourselves back in 2014. And when you pay that much money to do anything, it kind of helps you burn the boats a little bit. And so like then you just have to make that money work for you. And that's kind of how I got started. So it was easier to convince him that I had to now, you know, quit my corporate job to go do something that I've never done before.
That's
so
awesome.
Now I got started.
Yay. And no regrets.
No regrets. Oh my God. No, it's been an incredible journey. And trust me, if I can do it, then anybody can do it. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, you know, what's really exciting is this real estate flipping business. And this is not just everybody hear this with great, huge amount of heart. There aren't too many successful women in the real estate investment business. And it's just amazing just what Leka has done. And she just has made this industry one that's just full of passion and excitement and motivation. But when you see her out in the field at one of her houses, I mean, she might as well be the general contractor because she will take no crap from nobody. So she's amazing. She balances just incredible intellect with super, super good experience. And so that's why I think it's going to be great to just hear from you today. And I'm excited because I haven't seen this deal yet that you've been talking about. And so Leka and I have been talking a little bit about just finding one of the deals that she could share about. And then she's going to share some about her spreadsheets. As we all know on this coffee talk, it's really a conversation. So feel free to ask questions along the way, throw it in the chat, and then we can kind of interrupt her along the way as well. And then she has some spreadsheets that she's going to share because that's really the heart of what we do is to really collaborate. But Leka, just super thank you for joining on. I know you had to actually push off your webinar, which happens during the same time. Join us. So we thank you for that. So where's this project at that you're going to talk about?
Yeah, first of all, like Kikoa, thank you so much for having me on this. You guys, I have mad respect for Kikoa too. He literally had to stare death in the face and then he came back and he still hustled and he's still like out there doing stuff, really moving the needle. And I take a lot of inspiration from someone like him. And I've got I've had the pleasure of working on a couple of deals with him and he just goes above and beyond for anybody that he's working with. So you just see is so much like passion for what he does too. And just bringing all of us together in this, even in this environment, like that's just incredible. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you for saying that. But we are here for you. We want to hear your story. We appreciate you though.
Okay, so this deal, I bought this from, so I bought this deal. It's in a very nice part of Seattle called Wallingford, which has its ups and downs because the deal was not cheap. But on the plus side, it's just in a beautiful neighborhood that's always in need of inventory. And so like for us to go in there as a flipper and actually, provide new soul and new gut to a deal that or a house that's like 100 years old, that was pretty incredible to do.
Awesome. So run us through just your deal analysis. Tell us how you kind of decided this would be the right project for you, because this was a single family home.
Yes, this was a single family flip. And I bought it from my very trusted friend and wholesaler, and he's actually on the call, Vlad. Huge shout out to you.
Vlad.
Yeah. So when Vlad calls me and says, here's the thing, when Vlad calls me and says he has a deal for me, I pretty much go ahead. I say, when can we meet? Let's walk the house. I'm going to buy it. Here's your earnest money check.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've bought so many deals from him over the years, and it's really important, I think, to nourish and cultivate relationships with your wholesalers, especially when you're not marketing yourself. Because you have to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. And I think my biggest weakness is that I cannot find off-market properties. But that's why I have friends like Vlad that are so good at that And so they know how to go there, to negotiate with the seller, find these deals, get them on the contract, and then bring it to me. And I have no problem, paying out a hefty assignment fee, because I know that if it wasn't for them, I would never be able to find these deals.
So majority of your deals do you do through wholesalers then? You find most of them through wholesalers? Okay.
Most
And
of them
on
are
average-
market properties through wholesalers. Yep.
Awesome. And then on average, what are you paying wholesalers as their assignment fee?
Oh gosh, anywhere between 5K, and I've paid, I think, a max of 90K.
Okay.
But also I give them a 3% list back if the wholesaler is a brokerage themselves.
Yeah.
So just tack on a 3% on top of that.
Wow. And you're a licensed broker, so that's huge.
I'm a licensed broker. Yeah, I'm a licensed broker. But sometimes it's also nice to not have to sell your own property.
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned that.
Legal issues and stuff to deal with, should something go wrong. So I'm actually happy to let someone else take that.
That's awesome. So if you're brand new and you're kind of listening in on the coffee talk, Corey and I would agree with what Leka's talking about, is get to know every wholesaler in your market, get to network with everybody you can, because wholesalers, that's their full-time job, is looking for deals. And many of us who are flippers, we just don't have the time to actually go out and try to find all these deals. And so these wholesalers, they come in. One of the things that we do, Leka, is that we tell our wholesalers what our buying criteria is. When you talk to your wholesaler, what do you tell them is your buying criteria?
I'm kind of spoiled because the wholesalers that I work with have known me for a good 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
And so they kind of know where I'm at any given point. And yes, my buying criteria changes, right? Significantly.
Yeah.
Right now, I want something with a massive profit margin at the end. I'm never going to go into a deal where the profit is only 30 or 40K, because I know how quickly things can go south. So
Yep.
they know that about me. So they bring me the juicy deals, 70K and plus. And the neighborhood doesn't matter. The price doesn't matter. I can get the funding. I can travel wherever, but it has to be a juicy deal at the end of the day.
So juicy for you is 70K.
Yeah, minimum.
Nice. Okay. And so just in general right now, percentage of ARV in light of the pandemic, what are you looking at these days? 70, 65, 55%?
Yeah, 55 would be amazing.
Nice.
And I'm okay to hold out till I find that deal.
Nice.
I've seen so many bad deals. I have done so many bad deals. And sometimes the best deals that you do are the deals that you pass up on. And so I just have to constantly be patient. And I know that when I see a good deal, I know that it's a good deal.
That's awesome. I love what you just said. I think some people have missed that. Sometimes the best deal you do is the deal that you pass on. That is super, super important to remember that. Corey and I say that all the time, because some days we just get super excited and we try not to be emotional, but we're like, look at this deal. It's going to be amazing and it's awesome. And then we're like, but here are the 3 things that make us nervous. And so sometimes you're totally right. The best deal that you do is the deal you did not do. So that's important. And I love it that you said that. And I love that you also are really honest that you've done some bad deals.
Yeah.
I think any investor who flips homes and says they've never done a bad deal and they've done over 10 deals, you guys have done 40, we've done, a lot as well. They're lying, because there's bad deals, it just sometimes they don't turn out so good, but that's huge. I love that you're saying, hey, your criteria right now is a 55%. So for those of you who are new and kind of joining us on the coffee talk, I would say just exactly what Leka just said, form your buying criteria. So when you meet with a wholesaler, that wholesaler knows who you are and what you need. What it doesn't work for a wholesaler is just bring me anything. It's well, they don't know exactly what you want. So then they end up sending you all kinds of stuff. Leka's got a relationship with them now, so she is aware of what they are going to send her. They know what she wants. And so that's a great partnership. So that's awesome. So you got this deal from a wholesaler.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And it came in. And then at the very beginning, when they told you and you looked at the deal, what did the deal look like at the beginning? And then I want to hear later on, where you ended up, because it's always one thing at the beginning, right? When everybody says, oh, here's the numbers. So what did they present to you?
Yeah. So I have a slide deck. Do you want me to share?
I think that would be awesome. Let's do a slide deck. We love slides.
Let me share with you guys, because that'll just give you a good idea for what this deal was.
This is how organized you always are. You've got a slide deck. I've got all kinds of stuff.
Okay, can everybody see?
Yeah, it looks great.
All right. Okay, guys. So let's see. All right. So this was the before on the left, you know, it was a pretty dilapidated house. A builder could have easily come in and said, oh my God, total tear down. But not me. I think there's a charm in just restoring these older homes. And this home was built at the, like 1900s. It could have even been like 1890 according to the seller.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about numbers. So my acquisition cost on this deal was $710. So pretty expensive deal. My wholesale fee was $40K, 3% list back. My rehab budget was $185K. So that is a full studs out remodel. And the ARV on this was $1,150,000, and my holding time was roughly 6 to 7 months, which is typically what I would say something like this would take to construct.
Awesome. Cool.
And the cool thing is the profit at that point was $65K, which is, I mean, this is back in 2017, $65K was a lot back then. So I was like, yeah, let's do this deal all day long, you know?
Yeah. Hey, so just out of curiosity, for those of us who may not be familiar, when you list out the wholesale fee separate from acquisition, does that mean that you were able to get $750,000 kind of as your purchase price, or did you finance $710 and you had to pay the wholesale fee with cash to directly the wholesale?
So great question. It depends on your lender. Most hard money lenders can actually put in the wholesale fee as acquisition fee if it's listed on the escrow on the HUD. If it's not listed on the HUD, that means that seller doesn't know that the wholesaler is getting a fee, and then you'd have to kind of pay for it out of pocket. So it just depends on how the deal is structured in the front end.
That's huge. And I'm going to repeat that a little bit because there are some folks that are brand new. So a couple things in what Leka just said is that double check with your title company if they're comfortable doing wholesale type transactions. There are some title companies that they're not as familiar. And so they freak out when they're just like, wait, you're going to take the contract that you don't own yet and you're going to give it to somebody else and you're going to make money on that. Some title companies, surprisingly, that's just like, that's crazy. And others specialize in that. And so sometimes there are situations like Leka says where you actually have to come up with the wholesale fee out of pocket. So for some, $40,000 in addition to the down payment for the hard money is quite a bit of cash. And so you'll want to definitely research that, because then you're not surprised all of a sudden when you're like, wait, what do you mean that I got to pay you cash for your wholesale fee and still go get a hard money? Why can't we finance it together? And so great thing to consider. So cool. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Yeah, no, perfect. Okay, so here's my scope of work. And as you can see, we literally had to do everything. And a remodel like this is so much harder than new construction because you're literally working with everything that's existing and trying to not disturb too many things. But in this case, there was a lot of work that we needed to do. First of all, there was only 1,400 square feet that was finished. So we had to finish the rest of the basement, which was adding about 600 square feet. We were adding another bedroom in the basement. We were adding a bathroom. And then here's the kicker. There was an outdoor porch that we had to convert to living space to make that whole living room look a lot bigger. And it was the first time I was doing that. So obviously going through different floor plans, we went through like 15 different iterations, because here's the other main thing is that we had to get an STFI permit on such a large remodel, which is subject to field inspection, which means you're not going into like a plan review with the city, which could take 4 to 5 months to get your permits back. On this one, we were able to just get like over-the-counter permits because my architects were able to kind of navigate through that process. But we had to go through floor plan changes.
So Leka, does everybody always need to get an architect involved for flips?
Not if you're doing like a cosmetic flip, paint, carpet, siding, roof. But if you're doing something like this, I highly encourage, because when you go to submit your plans to the city is going to require as-built and proposed layout anyway. So you might as well just hire an architect, but also try and find an investor-friendly architect in your city or your neighborhood, because they are just less expensive. They know exactly what to do, and they don't cost as much as like a big builder name architect.
Yeah. And what did you pay for Yen Designs?
I think this one cost me about four grand for just as the architect fee, and then another 1,500 for permitting.
That's awesome. I use Yen Designs up here too. So if you're in the Seattle area, Yen Designs, investor friendly, they take it all the way to permits. Yep. Not the cheapest, but definitely a great company to work with.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. You got to get a good investor friendly architect. So that's awesome. So perfect.
Yep. They were great.
If anybody else has other questions, feel free to throw it in the chat or just chime in.
Otherwise, I have a question. Leka, how would you recommend that I go out and find investor-friendly architects here in Los Angeles?
You know, I would join a really great Facebook group or a LinkedIn group with other investors and fix and flip professionals, and then just throw out there, hey, like, this is me, I have this flip and I'm looking for an architect. A lot of my business is run through referrals, and I feel like if one of my friends has used someone, then I'm more comfortable going with the same person. That's how I met Yen Design too. It was a referral from a close friend, and he had used them on like 15 different projects. So I know that Yen is an investor friendly. Yen understands investors. And now, like, fast forward, 5 years, I have used Yen on, I don't know, close to 30 different projects, and then refer them out too. So join your local groups, meetups, Facebook groups. They're the best.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Sweet. All right. So
yeah. So let's talk about money, you guys, because money is important.
Money, 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 money.
Yeah. Now, to give you a background, for me at that point in 2017, I bought this deal in July. I had 7 other projects going on. And as you can see, my projects cost me a lot of money. And so I was like, how do I fund this deal? Because I had no down payment at all. And it's an expensive down. I needed 150K to close. So I was like, what do I do? So I reached out to a friend of mine who I was kind of mentoring. And he was like, I have the money, but I don't have the chops to go out and do my first deal alone. That's like very risky for me and daunting. And so I said, come on, be my partner. Let's do a JV. And we set up like a JV agreement. He funded the entire cash to close for a 30% profit. So that was great. He was involved in the project. He saw how I acquired the deal, how I rehabbed the property, how we resold the property. And it was just a great partnership. And he could come in and, shadow me anytime he wanted. And I do things very transparently. Everything is, permitted. Everything is done right. And so he was able to kind of see how an actual flip is done. So it was really cool.
Nice. Hey, so question for you, Leka. It's not too often that hard money comes with no points. And so obviously 9%, to do 9%, it looks like you probably put 20. So you had 80% hard money, 0 points if you put a 150 down. So how did you find that? One of the questions is, how do you get that type of loan?
It's so funny that you asked that question, because here's what happened. I was working with Lending Home at that time. Lending Home is such a miserable company to work with that my loan officer could feel my pain. I had to literally give them 100 different documents to get this one loan. And this was not my first rodeo with them. This was like my 6th or 7th deal that they were lending on. So my loan officer, who was supposed to charge me 1.5 points, said, I'm just going to waive your points because we've made it so miserable for you. And so that's what they did. They just waived the points on such a large loan. So
awesome.
That's kind of what happened, but it's not common.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have another question, Leka. You know how you said with the mentee that, you asked him for the money? I also have some kind of mentees, and then, it's kind of, that's a weird situation, right? Like I'm mentoring someone, but then like, hey, can you let me borrow some money too? How long were you mentoring them, and what was that relationship like for you to be able to do that? I'm just curious,
Yeah. So I knew Sean for a long time, about 2 years before this deal came about. And that whole time he kept asking me to partner with me. So it's not like, I was like, hey, I need the money, but it was more like, okay, now I have an opportunity that you can take part in. So, as long as you have that relationship, then it's easy for someone to like believe in you, have that faith. And he had seen, like I had a good track record. He had seen all my projects. He had seen my successes, my failures. So he kind of knew like what he was getting into. And also because this deal was a large deal and, the holding time was longer, I kind of gave him like right off the bat said, hey, this could go really well, but there's a small chance that we could make a loss and you have to be okay with that. And he was willing to take that risk to be able to learn firsthand.
You're awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Leka, in terms of that type of a partnership, did you create with a lawyer that JV agreement, or, back of a Starbucks napkin, you kind of like poke blood and kind of, did something like that? Or what kind of document do you put for something like that?
Yeah, I actually had my attorney draw it up. It's just a joint venture partnership agreement. And then he was also on the deed of trust for the property as a second lien holder. But, I do have friends that sometimes loan me money and they're just on a promissory note. And I do have an attorney draw it up, but I don't have to have my attorney look at it every single time. If it's, a pretty generic one, then we just use the same one.
Gotcha. That's perfect. Yeah, Corey and I do the same thing. Once our attorney drafts something for the first time, we just copy and paste.
Right.
So that works out great. Cool. Good stuff.
I have a quick question, Leka. For the 150, it's similar to the numbers with the type of deals that we do here in Hawaii. So that definitely wasn't enough for the entire gap funding, right? So you had to, I see at number 3, you say you covered all the holding costs. Are you talking about the interest and the renovation budget?
No, yeah. So I am talking about like all the holding costs include utility payments, insurance payments, property taxes. And then obviously on a deal like this, you have to have at least a 10 or 15% contingency. And so I had to make sure that I had those funds stacked away.
Got it. So you came to the deal with your own money
also,
too, right? Because 150 seems not enough for a deal that size for the entire gap, right?
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, my monthly holding costs were not cheap. It was still $7,500 a month.
And what was the leverage that the hard money gave you? Do you remember?
I think we were at 15 or 20%.
So 80 to 85% of the purchase price.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Oh, I think it was 90% of purchase and 100% of rehab.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more.
Perfect.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Leka.
Yeah. So now for the fun part, you guys. This was what the house looked like before. It was super old and stinky and just the way I like it.
Yep.
That was the kitchen. Massive.
Yep.
That was the dining.
Wow.
But it had these beautiful like box beams, and it had a lot of charm.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, basement was so scary.
Oh my gosh, look at the wiring. Nice.
Yeah. And so we basically began construction in August. We closed on the property beginning of July. We worked on permitting, and then we started construction in August. And it went great initially. This is the basement. So as you can see, in October, we were done framing. November, we passed our framing inspections. This is beginning of November. And then December rolled around and literally like my contractors did not work and we just sat and there was nothing going on. Like we just sat like this, I think till the middle of January. So as you can see, that time frame, the 7-month time frame on a project like this goes out the window when you have so much money and so many things that the house needs, right? So some of the drama that happened in the house is this was the front porch area, but the way that the front porch was built, they had no foundation underneath it. So we literally had to pour in new foundation, jack up the house on that side, and before that, the house is tilting by a few inches. So no big deal.
So you had to do a full foundation work. Did you get a foundation contractor like a Matt B or something like that?
No, this one thankfully didn't need a full foundation expert. We just were able to put some foundation in on that side and jack up the house, and it looked fine. It passed inspections.
Gotcha. Nice.
And then my architect who helped drop some engineering for that, so it was easy.
And then how come you had to stop work in December?
Because my contractors didn't work.
Oh, because Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, holiday time frame. I was in India, and so everybody just hung out. Nothing happened.
$7,500 of hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Right. Yep. So I'm freaking out in India, but I'm there's nothing I can do. Just gotta roll with it,
Yeah, Corey and I break down all of our properties by interest per day, and then when we add it up and there's something stopped, man, the level of blood pressure stress some days. Corey stresses a little bit more about it than I do because he's closer to those numbers usually. But yeah, it adds up, and pretty soon you're just oh my gosh, we're fully bleeding.
It's so scary. You don't want to look at those numbers every day.
Yeah, you totally don't. But cool, that's exciting. So that was asbestos siding as well, then, huh?
So it wasn't asbestos siding, thank God. But what happened was we took the siding out, and there was just no plywood, and it was all rotten. It was missing in places. And we hadn't really accounted for that. So that was an additional $6,000 fee on top of everything else. So things can go wrong pretty quickly.
Yeah.
On a project like this. And then if you can see this is the side of the house, and the neighboring property had a retaining wall. And every time it rained, all that rainwater would collect and flood our basement.
Oh, great.
Again, we're in Seattle. It rains a lot. Basement flooding, no big deal. Just, you got to do what you got to do and move on. So we put in a massive French drain around the house. We built our own retaining wall, and that stopped the flood.
Nice.
But again, that costs money and time. So you guys, I was, like I said, in India, and there was no work going on at the house at all. I came back from my vacation and moved into this house. Well, not literally, but kind of literally. And I hung out with my contractors. I ate lunch with them. I built light fixtures.
So either you really wanted to have some new friends, or you were desperately wanting to get the house done.
So this contractor, Israel Lopez, I love him. His son is actually watching the webinar right now. So it was fun. I had a blast. I learned a lot about construction from this man. And so I was happy to get it done and work with them and kind of motivate them, inspire them to get it done, because it was expensive to hold it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So we finally finished the project in April. So a little bit more than 7 months, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the before and after. This is literally the same exact space, right? What we did do was, if you remember those box beams, we kept the box beams, but we turned that into the kitchen, and then the original kitchen was turned into the dining space. Modernized it like crazy, vaulted the ceilings.
Wow, that's really nice. Did you use engineered flooring or LVP?
This was all hardwoods.
Hardwood, real hardwoods. Wow.
Real oak hardwood. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And then
How hard was it since we're in Hawaii, so we don't really deal with chimneys, right? But how hard was it to take that out?
Oh my God, it was hard. Because there was one time where the living room was just filled with all that brick and that stone. It's not easy. And especially for us, it was fine because we were going to vault the ceilings and we were going to put a new roof on it. But otherwise, it's just, you have to make sure that you're patching the roof right. It's not easy.
Wow.
I think that's cool that you spelled out the word bougie. I've never actually spelled out the word bougie before.
Yeah. I'm sure there's more than one way to spell it. Okay, so here are the actual numbers, right? So we had a projected, which was very easy to deal with, but then this happened because we actually kept the project for 10 months because, you know, construction took longer. My holding costs went from 50K to 75K. My rehab budget went from 185 to 205, which is, I literally put 100K out of pocket into this project. So, you know, that's not fun if you have to then go out and get a third lien holder or another private money lender. You know, that's going to take more of your profit away.
Yeah. So when you so you didn't get another lien holder, you just put money out of your pocket.
Yes, I just put money out of pocket.
Yeah.
Also, you know, like I had a lot of projects, like I said, going into it. And luckily, a lot of those projects had sold by the time, you know, April rolled around. So I was able to kind of get some of that funding back so I could make it work. But if you're going into a large deal like this, especially with not a lot of capital, then I would highly encourage you to make sure that you can find good lending partners if you need them.
Yeah.
Always have a private lender in your back pocket.
Absolutely. Well, that's where Corey and I, a couple of weeks ago, you know, we shared that deal analysis for everybody to use because it also helps you to predict if there's going to be some needs for construction funds and some kind of the plan B, plan C options, because there's not too many times where your initial budget is actually the actual budget. It's usually higher, right? Everything goes over budget. And so you need more money.
Yeah.
And so I think especially for brand new investors and flippers is just be really careful to give yourself a lot of margin when it comes to cash on hand because things just don't go as fast as we want them to.
Exactly.
But you know, the blessing for you is if you had finished in 7 months, you would have been on market in the middle of winter, but you were able to come on market in April, which is a really good market in the Northwest. So, I mean, look at your sales price. You got over 100,000 more than you initially planned for.
Exactly. So I was able to list for a lot higher and then get that list price, which, you know, thank God, because otherwise we wouldn't have made a profit.
Yeah.
At all. So yeah. And here's my total profit. 15K.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah. It was amazing. And you know, what was most exciting for me was that I was able to give my private lender a good hefty portion of this. Which always makes me excited because then they want to work with you again and again and again, you know?
Yeah. So with your private money lender, you gave them 30% of the profit. Did you also give them interest or only percent of profit?
No, just percentage of profit.
Perfect. And then on top of that is when you initially talked to him about, you know, loaning 150,000, did you have a contingency to say, hey, it's going to be, 7 months, but, you know, it may go 12 months and you're just going to come along the ride just because you're a percentage of profit, or how did that look?
That's another great question. In my head, I know that it's 7 months, right? But I never make up an agreement for 7 months. It's always a year loan term.
Perfect.
1 year loan term, because I know that even if things like go really bad and wrong, I can get it done in a year.
Yeah.
Right. So always make it a 1 year loan term and have some kind of language in there for an extension at not too many points or too much more profit.
Yeah.
Because things never go as planned.
Right. Totally. And so did that private money lender then repeat with you? Did they, after they got a check for $35,000, did they be like, hey, let's roll it again. Let's do it again?
So then this happened. I got my own broker's license back in 2017. I was able to find him an off-market deal, which he bought from me. So I got paid for that, and I helped him flip that, like, you know, gave him advice and walked his property a few times, and I got a full 3% list back on that. So, like, you know, because he trusted me and he knew that I could help him get there. So that was really exciting. So I sold him my first wholesale deal ever.
Wow. And so you got to, yeah, that's what a great relationship. But what I love about that story is that somebody who had never flipped and was concerned about doing his first flip got to partner with you, invest some funds, was successful at it, and gave him enough confidence to go out there and do his own and be successful at it. And so I think that's where, you know, we always talk about find a mentor, you know, get involved with somebody who's doing it well and invest with them, partner with them, JV and them, do anything, even just bring them coffee and help put together chandeliers, you know, just to build that relationship, because you're totally right. You know, for a new investor, the greatest confidence booster is to be a part of a deal and then, you know, do a deal, and then to have you as the mentor come alongside and watch and coach and be a part of it. I think I love that story. And that's why you are so successful, is because you just give stuff away and you don't mind helping people be successful. And so that's awesome. Congratulations on 116,000. That is,
thank you. No,
yeah.
I'm excited for him too. He's done a few flips after that. And so, you know, it's always nice to see them kind of get on this path and build their own legacies.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, so this is kind of just to show you like where I bought the house. I bought it, you know, at a time when the market was kind of softening. And then I was able to sell it when the market was kind of picking up again. So that's, your market timing is everything really. And like Kikoa said, going into it, I had no intention of listing the house in November anyway. So, you know, the extra time totally worked.
I love that graph, by the way. And,
oh yeah,
it's almost a blessing in disguise that you didn't exit at the time that you were planning to, right?
Oh yeah.
If you exited 3 months earlier, you wouldn't have been at the price that you were, it seems.
Exactly. And that was always the plan. You know, my contractor and I used to have like an honest side conversation that, hey, don't tell the guys, but we don't want to finish, or we can finish it, but we don't want to sell in November, December, January.
Yeah.
You know, we want to list in February or March.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at your graph. November, December, January was the lowest period of time. Exactly. You know, so it was really great. But that's also market contextual. So Corey and I often have this conversation. So our Hawaii houses, December's not that big a deal because winters in Hawaii, people are still in the market. They're still going around in shorts and tank tops. I mean, winter in Washington, when I moved up here, like it is completely a crazy different world. It's dark by 3 o'clock.
Winter in Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, winters it's a real deal. Like nobody does work in construction in December. It's like it shuts down and it's cold and it's dark by like 1 p.m. and the sun doesn't come out till 12:45 p.m. Like it's just a total different world, but
exactly.
Interesting. But anyways, go ahead. What are the gems and lessons that you have?
You know, it's kind of what we've discussed already, is that in this case, you know, market timing worked for me, but just beware of holding times on a large deal. Yeah. In this case, again, I had to micromanage my contractors, but I hate doing that. So use it, but don't use it all the time.
Yeah.
Have a contingency.
Gotcha. Leka, you talk about your contractor quite a bit. So, you know, if I'm brand new and I want to get into a flip and I'm trying to find a contractor, like where would I look and how do I build that relationship so I can really trust them?
Yeah. So I've had a pretty good track record, like just working with my contractors. Each of my contractors have done a minimum of 3 projects with me, maximum like 12. And we're still going strong with my existing contractor. And I think initially, like I've hired some pretty sketchy people. I've paid them a lot of money up front. They've run away with it. Like I just had all my learnings. But the best contractors that I've found are through my subcontractors, my electrician, my HVAC, my plumber. I'm like, hey, what builders are you working with that always show up to their job site, that pay you on time, that are good to the investors? And then I go and interview those contractors, and they are literally like a world apart from the people that I can find on a Thumbtack or a Craigslist ad, right? Because I've hired those people too. So this contractor I found actually through a good friend of mine who had used him, but then had another friend who had used him more. So I spoke to both these guys and I said, hey, what do you think about Israel? And they said that they loved him. He was super, just driven. And so when I started working with Israel, my God, like the first flip that we worked on together, he got done in 8 weeks. And then out remodel, like they were so enthusiastic, it was amazing. But then, you know, contractors go through ups and downs too. Like sometimes they take on just way too much work, or like they have health issues, or like they have people just leave their companies, you know, like, so they have problem with finding labor. So you just have to kind of have that open conversation with them and be like, hey, just don't screw me over. Please tell me if you're going to go this route. And we've had our ups and downs, you know, but for the most part, he was amazing.
That's awesome. So just to recap for anybody who's kind of newer, start talking to subs, asking them which GCs are they working with, who do they know in the market that's doing well, treating their investors well, and then interviewing them. But kind of stay away from the Craigslist. You stay away from the Home Depot parking lot, you know, those types of GCs.
And honestly, the people that are on Craigslist and Thumbtack, they don't have work, because if they did have work, then they wouldn't have time to be on these websites anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. That's good advice. In fact, Leka has given me several of her best contractors and subs. And every single time I meet these guys, like Marco, the painter.
Yes, Marco.
He's painting 3 of our projects right now. He's about to be 38 of them that we're going to have him paint. I can't believe he can paint it at that price. Like, I mean, he gave me a quote and I'm like, is that labor or is that materials? You know, and he's like, oh no, that's labor and materials. I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, labor and materials. I'm all, that's too cheap. Like, I got to pay you more. I can't pay you that little. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But you've done a great job building a power team is what Corey and I call it, a power team of people that you're surrounded with. So cool. What else you got?
All right. So, okay, this is cool because I found this little poster stuck on the fridge of this house when I first walked it. And it said, "You are pure potential." And so I walked this house with Vlad. And by the time we got to the kitchen, I was like, I think I need to own this house. Because I was like, this is amazing. Like, yeah. So here, and so I took a picture of it and it just goes in my slide because, you know, I believe it. Like every one of us here has so much potential to do so much. Like if I can do it, I'm a brown girl that moved countries like in the middle of her life, switched careers, and you know, I've done 40 flips. I own about 13 doors. I do multifamily investing, land development. And if I can do it, you can do it. That's simple as that.
That is awesome. Woohoo! Applause for Leka. That was awesome. Well, and now we know Vlad's secret. So Vlad, before ever showing you a property, always sticks that little sticker in every kitchen. Just so that way when you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh.
We should start putting that in on all of our houses we're selling.
Yeah, all of our wholesale deals would be like, you are pure potential.
Pure potential.
No, Leka, you are amazing, and that's why, you know, we really wanted to have you on, is because so many people sometimes think that coming into this industry is such a huge hurdle, and it's daunting. But ordinary people like, you know, Corey and I, we're personal trainers, become real estate investors, you know, and you're a Nordstrom's fashion executive, you know, turned real estate investor. So that's amazing. You know what's really funny? I don't know, we're going a little bit over time, but everybody put this in the chat if you'd be willing to take a look at this. I saw a video on this house. Do you have that accessible, like pretty quick?
You know, give me 2 seconds because my silly laptop is running out of battery. I'm just going to plug it in. So
yeah, no, that sounds great. So if you guys want to see it real quick, just say yes in the chat. If you got to roll off, that's totally fine. But what I loved about this is I saw this video that she did following this remodel. And for investors, oh yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks for throwing it in the chat. For investors, it's always super smart when you finish a project. Sometimes by the time you get to an end of a project, you're so tired of the project, you don't want to go back. But for investors, the best way to network and meet other subs and contractors, other investors, other private money lenders is to recap the project in such a way that you can put it on social, you can put it on your website, so that way other people get inspired and then they reach out to you and then they get excited about what you're doing as well. So I had seen this video that Leka had put together, and it's really well done. It's only like a couple minutes, but I think that would be a great way to end. While we're waiting for Leka to tee that up, anybody got any other questions that we can answer, Leka can answer, or anybody can answer just in regards to the flip? You did such a good job, Leka, that I don't think anybody has any questions.
Awesome. Okay, here you go, guys.
Woohoo! Awesome. So what does a video like that run, Leka, to get done?
Oh, $500.
No kidding. So what
Yeah,
a great investment. What a great investment to be able to post on your social and use it as advertising. That's awesome.
And
Cool.
it's a
Well,
good way to, I think, attract more business, more private lenders, just some more credibility.
yeah, sounds awesome. So you're amazing. And what's the next kind of stage for Leka Devatha right now? What's the kind of the things that are on your mind relative to where you're headed, what you're investing in, what you're kind of keeping your eyes on?
Yeah, so in a couple years ago, I met Thatch Nguyen. I don't know if a lot of you know him, but Thatch is just an amazing role model and mentor. And he was like, "Look, you're young, you're buying deals, and I highly encourage you to hold on to everything you're buying." And that kind of started this whole thought process for me. And I was like, man, I just need to go and do some buy and holds. Because with flips, it's so easy to do them and make money and do them and make money and spend the money and then, just start from scratch again. So I started buying rentals and I started doing long-term, BRRRRs. So buy, rehab, renovate, refi. And so since then, I've been able to hold on to 13 doors so far. I've invested out of state in Tampa. I just bought a 4-unit in downtown Seattle and Queen Anne. So I think if you have any kind of money, especially going into the next couple of months where you're going to see a lot of foreclosures, a lot of bankruptcy sales, a lot of REOs, please just buy yourself one rental. Like if you can buy one rental, whether you have to beg or borrow or whatever you got to do, don't steal, but just go buy yourself one rental. Make sure that it has, an equity building proportion to it. So just go add drywall or whatever it is that you have to do. increase that value. And then if you can get a cash out refi or even just refinance it with these amazing rates that we have right now, then next year you can, or in 2 years, you can sell that, buy a 4-plex, then sell that, buy an 8-plex, and you've just, you're onto commercial real estate. So
That's
go
awesome.
buy a rental.
Go buy a rental. Well, on
Real
that
life
note,
monopoly.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, easy.
And pretty soon, Leka's gonna be buying hotels and all kinds of other stuff. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Well, Leka, thank you so much for taking time to join us and give us so much insight. It was super practical and really, really inspiring. I think that we all take it to heart. We all have great potential wherever we're at in our journey, whether we're just starting or we've done 200 flips or 2,000 flips. Like, there's still much more potential. And I think it's really surrounding ourselves with really good people like this. And you are awesome. Thank you so much. Leka, will you throw your email address down below in case anybody's got additional questions, or in case anybody wants to JV? Leka is authentically a great person to work with. And so if you have questions, definitely hit her up. If you're in the Northwest, she does a really cool meetup when, COVID lifts eventually. She'll have that going on. So that'll be good fun. But we definitely appreciate you very much, Leka. Thank you so much. And,
thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Well, Leka, if you can stay on for just a couple minutes, we're going to just kind of officially wrap up. But just for a couple minutes, sometimes there's folks who, don't want to ask questions because there's too many folks around. But if you want to just hang out for a couple minutes, we can just kind of converse a little bit. And I know we went a little bit over time for everybody, but thank you so much. I hope it's a great Friday wherever you're at in the country. We've got folks from all over the country, actually all over the world. So it's kind of fun. Glad you're with us. And again, Keiko Exchange is our Facebook page. So there's lots of resources on there. Leka, if you wouldn't mind, if you've got one of your deal analysis spreadsheets or something like that we could throw on there as well. We didn't get a chance to dive into that, but I know Leka was totally willing to, in our conversation, share kind of how she evaluates deals. Shoot that over to Justin.
Okay.
So Justin will reach out to you by email, and then we could put your spreadsheet on there too. On that Facebook page is what Corey and I have as a deal analysis. So kind of, take a look at all of them. And then if you got questions for us during the week, Keiko Exchange is a great place to go. But other than that, Corey, you got anything else to wrap us up with?
No, well, one thing I want to shout out again, Chris Wachendorf. He actually took the time to ask his attorney about the question I posed, I think like a last call, which was, I was getting conflicting advice from the attorneys on whether we should close down our LLCs that we assign to every project. And so I don't know, Chris, if Chris is on the line, but if he wanted to briefly talk about that, are you on here, Chris?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, basically, he took the time to ask his attorney, and his attorney recommended that we do shut the LLC down. And if for whatever reason, somebody tries to come after you, then the LLC is closed down, and they will probably take action against that LLC, but only until the length of when it was alive, if that's correct, Chris. I think if I got that correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he said make sure you spend all the money in the LLC first, defund it.
Right.
Make it
so that
bank.
the LLC has no assets, basically. Yeah. So that is good to know, because I was getting advice that you shouldn't close it down, because then their recourse is to come after whoever the entity or you personally that was the member of that LLC. But Chris's attorney is advising otherwise, which goes in line with our initial attorney's advice. So take that as you guys will. But thank you, Chris, for actually going out there, and asking that for us. Really appreciate it. And it's just important that we all, protect ourselves, right? Because we're trying to do good business, but unfortunately we are in a highly litigious society, I guess, and not just society, but industry, right? So let's just be safe out there.
That's awesome. Well, good stuff, everybody. Thanks so much for this week. Leka did awesome. You can, she's going to be a part of our family and our Ohana, in the coffee talks. Next week, she has a webinar at 2:00 following ours. So we'll try to go short next week and then jump onto hers, because hers is going to be, her guest is somebody who specializes in shopping centers around the country. So that's going to be interesting. Next week for us, leads and needs are still going to be a thing. And then also, if you're stuck on anything, we'd love to collaborate and think through that with you. And then the final piece, Steve Rosenberg is going to be our guest next week. So he is a good friend of Corey's and mine and Leka's and Alex and a whole bunch of us. He's an airline pilot. And when 9/11 happened, he realized that he was no longer going to have a job as an airline pilot. And he became a real estate investor. He started up a great property management company, sold it, made a ton of money. But just really interesting the way that he built his empire, if you will. With VAs from out of state, out of country. So it'll be an interesting conversation as we all try to figure out how to expand our bandwidth and try to expand our businesses, but to use sometimes VAs from across the country and across the world. So hope you'll join us next week. But other than that, aloha, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Always great, always a blast. And we love being a part of this community. So aloha and have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Leka, you were awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Leka, you're so amazing.
Thank you.
You make it sound so easy.
It's not, trust me.
I know, but you make it sound so easy.
I wish.
You make me want to go out there and go call Vlad and be like, Vlad, I need a house.
Send me a deal.
Send me a deal, Vlad. Go put that sticker
Hang
on.
on, let me go send you. Yeah, I'm gonna go send him a sticker.
Yeah, send me a sticker. Put a sticker on the fridge so when I walk in, I'm like, oh, this is meant to be.
You know, the amazing thing about that deal is the seller's name is Patrick Fry, and Pat and I have just become great friends. He is disabled. He lives in a mobile home park.
Oh, wow.
So, and we've become great friends, and we meet at the Sherry's in Shoreline once in a while. And we go have breakfast because that's what he likes to do.
It's amazing. Well, that's what's fun about real estate, right? Is you get to meet sellers who are in tough situations. You meet people,
Yeah.
you get to build friendships, and so that's hilarious. You know the adult family home that we have in Bellevue. So
Yeah.
I bought it because when we pulled in, it had palm trees. Nowhere else in Washington State has palm trees. So
No.
my sign was the palm trees. Yours was the note on the refrigerator. So if any wholesaler wants to mess with my mind, just make sure there's palm trees in the front yard when we pull in. I'll be like, yes, done.
I'm doing this.
I'll buy it. I'll pay
See what
cash.
I have to deal with.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Leka.
Oh.
I love how you guys banter because I was watching you yesterday on Bigger Pockets. And Kiko was like, no, he's not my friend.
Corey and I are like brothers, and like Steve said, it's probably easier to divorce our wife or our girlfriend than it is to divorce.
I know.
We're way too connected. Every one of our operating agreements, all of our joint partnerships, it's like we're so tied together for this life and like 10 lives to come.
Awesome.
You don't partner with anybody, do you?
You know, I don't. On a deal here and there, I do, but I just find it. I mean, I think I commend you guys for doing that. But it's like, for me, it's liberating to do this on my own. Because sometimes it's like, how, you have to ask yourself, how did I screw up so badly? And what would my partner have said if I had one?
Yeah. True.
And then sometimes your successes are massive too. And I'm like, yeah, I did this,
Yeah.
So no, I've just never partnered with anyone.
Your husband in the video?
Yes, that was my husband in the video.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, so he is a really good partner, I would say, because he has his own tech job. But the good thing is he has a lot of the strengths that I don't. So he's able to look at it from a 10,000 degree view and say, okay, this is what this is how we can tackle the situation. So some of the toughies.
And you guys both make great models.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, a beautiful couple.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are the stars of your own video. Not too many investors can pull that off, but
We need you guys to be on HGTV, and show the real stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of crazy.
That's awesome. It was so good. All of your content today was just amazing. So
Yay.
oh, it's good. And what's nice is that you're in our town. So it's like, oh, I can go have coffee. Although we can't have coffee. So we'll have coffee at a distance.
Exactly. I got my coffee cup right here.
I do need you to come back to Bellevue though to check out the house. It's
When? I'm
looking
down.
amazing. It's looking amazing. I'm super
I
excited.
know. It's like, it's so fun to follow your friends' projects too, especially I know what it looked like before, not
Yeah.
too long ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to come back. Just
Well,
let
and
me-
then Joseph Spada just called me yesterday about the adult family homes because, you know, he's the guru in Washington State.
yeah.
And he's like, hey, are you guys paying attention to what's happening? Like this market is going to blow up for adult family homes. And I'm like, yeah, totally. So he's got cash. He's like, hey, I want in. Like, how do I get in
Yeah.
to the apartment? Because he's got the expertise and all the credentials.
Yeah.
And so, but he doesn't have any experience on the real estate side. So yeah, we should definitely do a virtual meeting with him.
Let's do it. I'm totally down. And he's so nice because he trains all these people and they're all looking for homes now. And so I've been contacted by a few of them for my shoreline property. And I'm actually walking a couple of them on Tuesday
Nice.
through the house. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, I'm also in the process of building an adult family home in Shoreline.
Just because that's what she does, all kinds of extra stuff.
Oh my God, I know.
That's why there's always so much to talk about every time we're together.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's awesome.
We almost bought a sushi restaurant together, Kikoa.
Oh, we did. That's right. Corey doesn't even know about that. So shh.
Oh, bro.
That was a crazy place.
It was pretty good.
I might be down for that.
Yeah, and it was really good sushi.
It had really good sushi.
We
good
tested it out.
But the problem was there was the bottom of a building that had 13 units, right? And the building was literally like this. And
Yeah,
then
it was
like this. And then it had knob and tube. But it was like, man, the cash flow was incredible. The cap rate was unbelievable.
And the potential too, like you could build 7 floors on it.
Yeah. And views of the water. It was just awesome.
Is that the one in downtown Seattle we had sushi at? Kiko?
No, this was Everett.
This is Everett. Yeah, not quite at that nice. The food was
Also
good.
water views, also sushi.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Peter from Puyallup is on. Peter, I believe, has... Peter, are you the one with the adult family home in Puyallup? There was... Yes. Yep. Yeah, we got to definitely chat with Peter, too. Do you know Peter? Down in that...
No, I don't know Peter.
We should do an adult family home meetup.
Let's do it. Oh my God, I'd love that. Like just, even talking about laws and stuff that...
Oh my gosh. Or grab bars. Let's talk about grab bars.
Oh my God. Yeah. Grab bars.
And toilet paper. And all kinds of, old people stuff that you got to think about when you're trying to do an adult family home.
Fire sprinkler systems.
Oh my gosh. You have to come look at my sprinkler systems. They're beautiful.
Oh, I
We'll do the loan.
You'll do the loan. Perfect. We could do it.
Who's Alex Young? I want to know.
Alex is one of our...
With the team.
Oh, Alex. Hi. Got it. Awesome. Yay. See, it's all in-house now.
Yep.
Yeah. Leka, you should be on the Bigger Pockets.
She's
You guys, I am getting on Bigger Pockets. I'm recording my first podcast this month.
Oh, good.
And I'm the first woman from Washington State.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you're already
Yeah.
on board. Like your story should be told, and
Aw.
Greg's episode just came out. Congratulations again, Greg.
Greg, I listened to your episode. It was awesome, dude.
Thanks, Kiko.
It was awesome. I listened to it. I was doing cardio when I did it. Man, I rode for an hour and a half. Because your podcast
I know, it was a long one.
It was one of the longest ones, but it went so fast. And I was so sweaty. So thank you for that. It was amazing.
Thanks, Kiko. Appreciate that.
No, you're inspiring, dude. Really inspiring.
Oh yeah, and it was very powerful because you're a very humble guy, and very inspirational, man. What you had to overcome and stuff. So, it was very, it was easy to listen to, and although I could hear Ryan in the background, was that Ryan?
Oh really? Yeah. Ryan and Michael were there.
That's funny. But it was a great episode, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, Corey.